Hello friends, up till now we have discussed various points about distillation, basics of distillation, terminologies involved in the distillation, the methods of distillation, simple distillation, flash distillation and rectification, and then we have discussed about the feed conditions, etc. Now we have to discuss about the reflux ratio in the distillation process. So the contents of these presentations are introduction of feed, total reflux ratio, minimum reflux ratio and optimum reflux ratio. So as we have discussed in the previous presentation that when feed is fed to the column, then if that is in the liquid state, then it is going to the reboiler, and in the reboiler steam is provided and this liquid feed is going to change into vapors, and that vapors are going towards the condenser. That is the normal case of any type of distillation. So what is the condition of that feed? That is the point, and that is why this introduction to the feed or the different conditions of feed is very important, because on the basis of these feed conditions the reflux ratio are going to change, and if the reflux ratio are going to change, then the number of plates, the fixed cost or the operating cost or some other parameters of designing the distillation is also going to change. So let us discuss one condition, that is if the feed is cold liquid, then what happen? So in this case, consider this arrow, that is the feed at cooled condition. So if the feed is cold liquid, then obviously by gravity it is passes towards the reboiler, and in the reboiler they are heating, and after changing the vapors are coming out from the reboiler into the column again. So as vapor density is lesser than the liquid, it is going in an upward direction, right? So this is the common phenomenon. Now if you consider this feed tray, that is feed plate, right, and we are providing the cold liquid from this angle, and when these vapors are moving in upward direction and this liquid from the condenser or as a reflux is going in a downward direction, as well as this feed which is cold liquid is also going towards downward direction. Now these liquids and vapors are in contact at every stage, right? So if the feed is cold liquid, then obviously the latent heat from these vapors are removed due to this cold liquid as the temperature is lower, and that is why some of the vapors are converted into liquid droplets. So these converted droplets of these vapors are also mixed as a feed, and then this feed as a cold liquid, that is fresh feed, then condensed liquid from the condenser, and these droplets from some of the vapors due to the cold liquid conditions are also added into the reboiler, right? So if you consider for the liquids, so if the liquid is coming from the rectifying section, that is top of the column, that is above the feed plate, then it is considered as capital L, and the liquid which is going below the feed plate can be considered as L dash, The vapors in the rectifying section can be considered as capital V, and the vapors in the stripping section can be considered as V dash. So these are the liquid flow rates of respective section, and in a similar way we can write the equations for this L dash and V dash. So if the cold liquid is replaced by the feed at its bubble point condition, then the scene may be changed. And likewise, we have to observe what changes are there. Now, this L dash, V dash, all these vapor and liquid flow rates are depends on this feed condition. And that is why this feed condition must have some terminologies or the parameter which is nothing but a small q. So in the distillation, the feed conditions are represented by q parameter, and the lines on the XY diagram are represented by q line. So let us discuss what exactly the objectives of this presentation. So after this presentation, student must have answer the list of different feed conditions with the values of small q. Then what is the effect of total reflux ratio or minimum reflux ratio on the design of distillation column? Then what exactly the total reflux condition is, minimum reflux condition is, and optimum reflux condition is. And then we must discuss the important parameter, that is optimum reflux ratio, which is mainly required in the industrial design calculations, especially when we are talking about the technical feasibility and economical feasibility of any type of distillation column. So this feed, what we have discussed, so one of the feed is cool liquid, that is already discussed. The other conditions of this feed are liquid at its bubble point, that is nothing but the saturated liquid. Then feed may be a partially vaporized feed, that is partially vapor and partially liquid. And feed may be a saturated vapor, that is 100% vapor at its dew point, and feed may be at superheated vapor, so that is the temperature more than the dew point. So feed may be feed in the distillation column in the different conditions, and depending on this condition, that liquid flow rate, vapor flow rate, and the purity of the product is depend. So if the feed is fed at a particular plate, then that plate is called as feed plate. So this is the graphical representation of these 5 conditions of this feed. If you observe this first condition, cold fluid, that is Q greater than 1. So this is represented by this line in this XY diagram. So we know the equilibrium diagram, that is X against Y, that is mole fractions of MVC in the liquid phase and in vapor phase. So this feed line is represented as a Q line, but now in this case the condition is Q greater than 1 and slope of this Q line is like this. So depending on the condition, as this is the cold fluid condition, so the slope is like 1 and the Q value is greater than 1. In a similar way, if you observe, this is the saturated liquid condition, that is feed at its bubble point, right? So the value of Q is equal to 1, and that is represented by this green line. That is vertical Q line, which is parallel to y-axis. Then feed may be a partially vapor and partially liquid. That is, the value of Q is between 0 and 1, and that can be represented by this Q line. And Q is equal to 0, it means saturated vapor feed. So that can be represented by this line. That is, Q is equal to 0, it means slope is equal to 0 and it is parallel to x-axis. So this line clearly indicates that Q equal to 0 means slope of this line is 0, and Q equal to 1, it means it clearly indicates that the slope is infinite, and in between this Q equal to 0 and 1. So the slope is in between the 0 and infinity. Then the last condition is superheated vapor. So that is represented by Q less than 0, which is represented in this graph. So that is below the Q equal to 0 condition. Q less than 0. So these are the different 5 conditions of feed line or Q line on the XY diagram. So when we have to plot this Q line or feed line, then we must think about the feed condition and then only we have to draw this, right? So what exactly this Q is? So the Q may be defined as the measure of thermal conditions of the feed, because these conditions are cold, saturated liquid, partially vapor, saturated vapor, superheated vapor. All these things are depends on the temperature, that is heat as an energy. So Q may be a measure of thermal condition of the feed. Then Q can be defined as the number of moles of saturated liquid resulting in the stripping section for each 1 mole of feed is introduced. So it can be also defined in terms of formula, that is energy to convert 1 mole of feed to saturated vapor to the molar latent heat of vaporization. So whatever the energy is required to convert 1 mole of feed into saturated vapor, because in the distillation our main motive is to convert all these liquids into the vapors, because most of the vapors are in terms of more volatile component, and MVC rich product or distillation is our motive. So to convert this 1 mole of feed into the saturated vapor, whatever the energy is required with respect to molar latent heat of vaporization, that factor is also called as Q. So these are the different definitions of this Q. And what we have discussed in the previous slide, that L and L dash, V and V dash. So that is the liquid flow rates and vapor flow rates in the rectifying section and in the stripping section. So depending on this Q value only, this L dash or V can be calculated. Suppose for the liquid flow rate, the L dash is equal to L plus QF, as Q is the measure of thermal conditions of feed. So it is multiplied by capital F, right? And when we are talking about the vapors, it is 1 minus F, because already some of the thermal energy is utilized by the liquid. So remaining one is 1 minus Q. So these equations can be utilized to derive the feed line equation or Q line equation. Now I have shown the final equation of this Q line here, that is y equal to minus Q upon 1 minus Q into X plus XF upon 1 minus Q. And if it is the straight line, so obviously again we can write the equation or compare this equation like this: y equal to mx plus c. So the slope of this straight line of Q line is minus q upon 1 minus q. And that is why on the basis of this q value, we can calculate the slope of this q line. And on the basis of this slope calculation, we can draw the q line on the XY diagram. Or other method is we can calculate this y-intercept, and on the basis of y-intercept, we can draw the q line. So this is the basic details about this q line, what exactly the q is, and q line equation. Now, when we are talking about the reflux ratio, so the reflux ratio is defined as L by D. So reflux ratio is equal to the ratio of liquid flow rate or liquid to the distillate. So L by D is nothing but the reflux ratio. Normally there are two types of ratio, that is internal reflux ratio and external reflux ratio. So internal reflux ratio can be defined in terms of L by V, and external reflux ratio can be defined as L by D, and that is the important factor, because externally means we are interested in distillate only, we are not interested in the L by V ratio. So there are three reflux ratios, that is total reflux ratio, minimum reflux ratio, and optimum reflux ratio. So let us discuss what exactly the total reflux ratio condition is. Now in this case, you can have already the idea regarding this three components in the distillation, that is column, then condenser, and then reboiler. So in this case, when we are talking about the total reflux ratio, so this is condenser and this is reboiler. We already discussed about the reflux also. So this reflux is can be indicated as L, and if that is distillate, then it can be indicated as D. Now generally what happens, the feed is fed to the column, then it is heated through the reboiler, vapors are coming out to the column again, and these vapors are condensed, and the liquid condensate can be taken out as distillate, or if there is a less purity as per the requirement, then some of the part can be sent back to the top of the column. So that part of the condensed liquid which can be sent to the top of the column is called as reflux. Now when we are talking about the reflux ratio, so if L by D is total, it means there is a no distillate, there is no feed. So it is a batch process and there is a no waste, that is no bottom product. It means once we have to fill this column and the process is going on. So when the feed is fed to this column, then it is going to the reboiler, vapors are coming out, again it is condensed, and this reflux, that is total reflux, whatever the condensate are created in this accumulator or reflux drum, that 100% reflux is going back to the column, and again it is going to heat, and again the vapors are created, and the same process is going on. So there is no distillate, no feed condition, and no waste, and that is why here we have written that F equal to 0, D equal to 0, and W equal to 0, right? So whatever the vapors coming out from the one plate and which is going to the next plate are same. That is why here it is written as the Vn plus 1 is equal to Ln. So at the total reflux condition, the product withdrawal rate is 0 and the number of plates required are very less. And that is one of the reasons that to know the minimum number of plates required in the design of distillation, this total reflux ratio condition is used. Otherwise, practically, this is not the useful practice, as there is no distillate and company required the product for selling, for gaining the profit. And if there is no distillate, then there is no use of this total reflux ratio conditions. So to know only the minimum number of theoretical plates required for the distillation column, total reflux ratio condition can be utilized. And if you observe the XY diagram for this total reflux ratio condition, then this diagram can be like this. So this is X versus Y diagram. So generally the XY diagram is like this. And when we are talking about the total reflux condition, so for calculation of this number of theoretical stage with the help of McApthil method, there are two operating lines, that is operating line of rectifying section and operating line of stripping section. And we have to use the Q line or feed line. So with the help of these three lines, we can calculate the number of stages required for that particular condition. But as it is a total reflux ratio condition, due to total reflux condition, the operating line of rectifying section, which is starting from this XDXD point, lies on the diagonal. And in the similar way, the operating line of stripping section, which is starting from XW is also lies on the diagonal. So these both operating lies are lies on the diagonal. That is why we have to calculate the number of theoretical stages by drawing these horizontal lines and vertical lines in between the XDXD point and XWXW point directly, right? So if you observe, if we start from this point to this point, the gap between the equilibrium curve and diagonal is more. That is why the number of theoretical stages are minimum. So in the total reflux condition, from the XY diagram and with the help of McApthil method, we conclude that the number of theoretical stages required are minimum. So let us discuss the second condition of reflux ratio, that is total reflux. After total reflux, now we have to discuss the minimum reflux ratio. So if the reflux ratio is minimum, then the number of stages are maximum. So generally here it is written as infinite number of trays are required for the minimum reflux ratio condition. So why it is required? Let us look at XY diagram again. So in this XY diagram, if we start the drawing this operating line of rectifying section from this XDXD point. So for minimum reflux ratio, this operating line of rectifying section is coincide with the Q line equation at XY diagram. That is the main issue. In a similar way, if you observe the operating line of stripping section that also coincide with the Q line on XY diagram. And that is why in this upper part, the triangles, that is nothing but the number of theoretical stages required are more. And these triangles are infinite, that is maximum number of triangles indicates maximum number of trays are required for the minimum reflux ratio conditions. So if the reflux ratio is minimum, it means we are supplying the less liquid. It means the heat load on the reboiler as well as on the condensers are minimum. So if you provide the minimum feed, minimum liquid, obviously the load on the reboiler is less. If the liquid is less, the vapors are also less. So for the condensation purpose, the vapor load is also less. So for the minimum reflux condition, the heat load on the reboiler as well as on the condensers are minimum, but the number of trays required is infinite. Now let us discuss the third case, that is optimum reflux condition. Now as we know that in the total reflux condition, the number of theoretical plates required are less, but the heat load on the condenser as well as on the reboiler is more. In vice versa case, that is in the minimum reflux ratio condition, the minimum reflux ratio indicates the maximum number of plates and minimum heat load on the reboiler and condenser. So what exactly the reflux ratio should be? And that is why this concept optimum reflux ratio come into exist. So for that purpose, if you draw the graph, that is reflux ratio versus cost, as the industries are required the economical feasibility for the distillation process. That is why they always require the minimum costing. So optimum reflux ratio is a pure economical approach, right? So if you observe this graph of fixed cost first, so this is the fixed cost graph here. So as we move from left to right on the x-axis, then the cost is going to decrease because cost is on the y-axis. It means when the reflux ratio is increased, cost is decreased. That is fixed cost. So fixed cost is related to the number of theoretical stages. So as we know that reflux ratio is more, the number of theoretical stages are less. So in this diagram also you can observe this nature of the graph. As we increase the reflux ratio, the number of theoretical plates are less, but at a particular point. In a similar way, if you observe the operating cost line like this, that is, if we increase the reflux ratio, it means we are increasing the liquid flow rate, liquid load on the reboiler as well as on the condenser. And if the heat load on the condenser and reboiler is increases, obviously for the operation purpose, the operating cost is increases, right? So if we add this fixed cost of number of theoretical plates and operating cost for the heat load of condenser and reboiler, then we get a total cost. So the graph of total cost is like this. So if you observe again the total cost graph, so the minimum point of this total cost clearly indicates that this is the minimum costing condition, that is economical one, and the corresponding reflux ratio for this minimum total cost is the condition of optimum reflux ratio. It means at this point the total cost is minimum, and for this minimum total cost we must select this reflux ratio. So it is not a particular number, but we have to identify this total cost minimum condition, and with respect to that we have to identify the reflux ratio. But generally the optimum reflux ratio usually lies in the range of 1.1 to 1.5 times the minimum reflux ratio. So it is optimum reflux ratio lies between 1.1 to 1.5 times the minimum reflux condition, right? So if the minimum reflux ratio is some number, then we have to multiply it by 1.25, that is the average of this 1.1 or 1.5, then we get the optimum reflux ratio like that. So we must think of the operating conditions, then diameter of the column, number of theoretical stages, heat load of condenser and reboiler, and then only we can select an optimum reflux ratio for designing a distillation column. So this is the importance of this optimum reflux ratio, minimum reflux ratio, and total reflux ratio. Thank you.